there obviously is use for that endurance, but it's basically just to get us able to sit 2.5, 3, 4, maybe up to 5 hours on the saddle. So it's just also about the positioning. It's about the mental stuff, right? Being able to ride for that long without getting bored or without getting too exhausted. Those are the things as well, and that's why some of those programs, even some in Swift and on those platforms, it's just you burned out after a while because it already and obviously it's a little bit more interesting to start that way. But if you start at sweet spot and end at sweet spot, then at some point you burn basically. That's the whole thing, right? And that's another point of doing also endurance and doing also longer endurance. But as I said, hey, if it goes on and you do longer rides on the weekend, hit tempo, ride hard, ride
Got it.
fast. Yeah. So hopefully that's the first question. So go ahead with the next one.
Hisham, I think you were asking about your FTP. Okay.
It's reconnecting, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Till he reconnects, does anyone else have any questions, guys?
Actually, I have a question, Coach. When you're talking about the workouts, Coach, once we finish the workouts, right? Once we finish the workouts, what is the main parameter we look at? Do we look at TSS? Do we look at IF? Because you do give us IF sometimes on almost every workout. So how do we gauge that, if we've nailed a workout or not? Do we look at TSS? We've matched the TSS. Yes, I think we've done the workout well. Or do I look at IF and say, yes, I think I've nailed this workout?
But if you have the duration correct, it doesn't matter if you get TSS or IF, because it's mathematically it's basically the same if you look at the same duration, right? So TSS is a really good one, yeah, because that's one metric for us coaches to basically get that progression going as well, yeah, or to ensuring that there's enough load, basically, yeah, for the training. Correct. So TSS is a good one, and I think one question, if I think correctly, if I heard it correctly, the one question or what I did see a couple of times, you guys were basically doing the 20-minute test, right? And I like that 20-minute test, but it's just because you ride hard for 20 minutes. But the answer for me, or initially also the question by giving that test, is not how well you do over an hour, because a 20-minute test will only tell me how good you do on 20 minutes, right? So it makes no sense to put in a FTP, which is around half an hour to an hour, which is the power for you for half an hour to an hour, and try to do it on a 10-minute test, 20-minute test or so. So some of you thought, oh, okay, 20 minutes, I did the 20-minute test, so I enter a new threshold. I'm not so sure about that, because you did your best over the 20 minutes. You had a new peak performance in the 20 minutes, but let me define the thresholds, and I update the threshold. Sometimes it's 5 or 10 watts less. That's what I saw on some of you guys, because you already updated. And when I updated, I actually lowered it again. Because the thing is, what will happen now that we talked about endurance and tempo pace, right? You will never be able to hit that 3 hours in tempo, because you just overestimate a single workout and a single number which you calculated for a threshold. Make sense? So it's just like getting the zones up, and it sounds great. Hey, I have a 300 watts FTP. Awesome. But I'm not. Then the same person tells me, but I'm not able to ride 40 minutes in tempo in one go, right? So I'm like, okay, then you probably don't have 300 watts FTP. So let me enter the zones, and let me enter the threshold, and I'll bet if you look at the time trial and you go with your threshold, you will be able to ride your threshold home towards the finish line, right? And not be bonking after 21 minutes and then not being able to recover and not being able to perform any better after that, right? So it's and that's also like a thing about the about some of the workouts you do after, for example, trainer road, Swift, and whatever, right? They just do the initial tests, and then they let you run. But sometimes it's just the chronic load is just not there, right? So or your chronic ability to hold a certain pace is just not there. Yeah, that's what I try to do.
Uh, maybe I can add to that, Coach. So on Training Peaks, if you guys go into your account settings, at the bottom of the zones section, there's something called as notifications, where there's a checkbox for automatically applying the new threshold changes. If you guys have that checked, it will take into account your 20-minute number, and it might update the FTP number automatically. So you might want to turn that off, just so that, when Coach sees the performance metric, he will then update it manually, and it won't get updated automatically. So just go into the account settings, and under zones, it'll be the notification section, and turn off the checkbox for automatically applying the new threshold changes.
Correct. And you also see if you had it before, I will always give you the 9 zones. 9 zones.
9
if
zones,
there
yeah.
are 6 zones in there, then it's basically from the first power book to 6 zones, right? So if there are 6 zones in there for all of you, then it was automatically updated, because I always will provide the 9 zones just for you, to give you an idea as well on when you are, for example, sprint trainings, right? What is a sprint for you, right? Because for some it starts at 600 watts, for others it just starts at beyond 1,000 watts. So that's the big difference. Yeah.
Okay, Shyam, are you back?
Yeah. I for some reason I got kicked out of the meeting. I reconnected. Yeah.
Okay, I think when you started talking about threshold, the meeting got scared.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
It doesn't even want to hear my threshold number. Cool. Yeah. Thanks for that, Coach. It helped. A couple of other questions I had related to my FTP is that, so I've been cycling for the past 3 years, and for about 3/4 in the beginning of my cycling journey, I was under a coach where I had structured workouts for that year, and then I got out of the program and then started doing some for following workouts on Trainer Road and stuff like that. And then I got back into your program. Right now, throughout this period, my FTP has been between 155 and 175. I weigh around like 71 kgs or 70 kgs. So I guess that's about 2.2 or something. I know that FTP is not the one metric that we need to go by all the time. So after getting into the program, I did see a good improvement in my longer rides. I felt fresh when I ended the ride. I was not bonking all the time. But I think I haven't tested myself after that initial test that he gave us. But in one of the recent ITTs, I did feel harder to hold my threshold power that's currently on Trainer Road for about 25 minutes. Right. Now, what I wanted to ask is, given that my range has always been between 155 and 175, in addition to the workouts that I do, is there anything else that I can do to strengthen myself, like add some weightlifting days on the recovery days, if that makes sense?
Well, weightlifting makes sense. You don't have to have weight for that because the body weight itself is usually sufficient. Let me just
Right.
check your numbers real quick. Give me 10 seconds to review like your setting here because
Sure. Yeah.
there's like one. It's wrong. Group D, right? There we go. Yeah. Now I see. Yeah. Let me see the aerobic skills again. So for example, in your case, right, your FTP is basically good for almost an hour, right?
Right.
So that makes total sense what you say. So for the longer distances now, you're not so fatigued, right? You still can be able to push and I just check your aerobic fitness real quick because I mean that's like one thing nobody really considers. If I hear it a lot of times. You do the 20-minute
Right.
test, right? You subtract the 5%, and then you say,
Right.
well, that's my threshold number, and then everybody thinks that's the time trial pace they can go. But it's not true. In your case, you
Got it.
have a lot of stamina past the 1 hour as well. So even past the threshold, you can keep up the power nicely. What
Right.
what could help you now, and you're still working hard, and the contribution of the other systems is there as well. You improved on the aerobic, but there's still room for improvement on the max aerobic and anaerobic skills. So this week, for especially for you, this week should help. And some of the workouts this week, you might want to do not on a rest week, not on a rest day. That's too hard. But you might want to still keep one or two of those workouts in your backpack. And if you have time
Right.
and you miss the workout, just do a workout like the ones we have this week, because that will leverage your fitness as well. You are
Got it.
a perfect example, honestly, of a guy who needs to introduce lactate, who needs to introduce his body to give him more watts and not be
Right.
so efficient, right? So since your body's really efficient, it basically, yeah, you miss the punchiness basically, right?
Got it. Right.
And
Right.
that's what you need. Yeah.
Got it, coach. So I do have some hope of getting my FTP up, I believe. So then, from what you're saying.
Oh yeah. And probably what since it's your strength, probably the time will always stay on the longer side, right?
Right.
So yeah, that needs to be done, and that's why we do those again. That's why we do those 2 hours, 2 hour 30 rides, even if your main target is to do like around a 1 hour time trial, yeah, or shorter.
Got
Right?
it.
Yeah, you still need to keep that in, but you need to hit it hard, and you're probably good off in track B.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thanks, coach. Yeah, that's all I had.
Okay, any
Am I
other
audible?
questions, guys?
I don't have any question as such. I just want to share my views.
Please go ahead, Doc. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to thank the coach for make fitness a high priority in my day-to-day life, and Going by the numbers, I'm happy about the way the FTP numbers are progressing. At the start of my training, I think I started somewhere about 165, and now it has gone to 225. And then the Garmin's VO2 max, I started about at 38. Now it stands at 43. A lot of other metrics as well. So happy. Just like what other people have discussed, I don't have any event or target as such. I'm just going with the flow, hoping that the fitness journey will even more be improved. So thank you, coach, for that.
Sure.
One small thing about Dr. Rad's, coach. Every day after a hard workout, people are crying, right? They're like, "Oh my God, this is a tough workout and all." But Dr. Rad's, he's always really happy about all his tough workouts. He's like, "Thank God, coach killed me today."
and you know what? That's honestly a perfect example of how the how your head, how your feelings and all that also play a big part in fitness. Because if somebody says, well, I just want to be happy on the bike, right? Just want to ride, and I'm not concerned about being on the podium, right, and all that, most of the time their fitness is leveraged even better than those guys who go to races, right? Because they get all hyper excited and they all want to intercompare their thresholds, right? But if you just ride for yourself, right, it's most of the time, well, not better, but it's most of the time the thing where you improve even more. That's funny.
I think the stress factor is taken away when you're just training.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. But it's
No,
a mental
honestly,
side of
coach, just since last year, I've been also kind of watching what everyone is doing, and there's definitely a growth in power number in every single person. Not one person is stagnant, and everyone is increased by at least 25 or 30 watts in their power numbers, and from where they started. And it's amazing because everyone, they have been riding for a while, and some of them have been riding for much longer, many years before. But now this has brought some consistency and structure into their riding as well. And I think they're also starting to see the beauty of, the madness. So just again wanted to thank you for doing this for us, coach. It's just everyone is really benefiting from this, and almost the entire Chennai cycling community knows how good all the Volker students are. And when they come out to a race day, these are the people that they want to watch out for.
yeah. Well, I just updated your numbers as well. Obviously, if you look at it, I mean, from the peak 5 minutes till even peak out to peak numbers of 2 hours, I think, right? It's the maximum peaks. So it worked really nicely. Yeah, I must say. But it's on. I'm not doing the work, right? I'm prescribing a few things. That's it. But you do the work, and that's how you also end up seeing your performances being better and your numbers going up, right? So it's just it's your work, right? And you can be proud.
Thank you, coach. I think CM has a question. CM, hi CM.
Yes. Hey, first of all, sorry for joining late. I was on office call and I couldn't join in. Thank you, coach. And I'm based out of UK, and most of your plans, I'm doing it indoors. I'm not sure whether it's the right approach or not because the weather is pretty crazy here. And of course, over the weekends, I go outside. Last 3 weekends, I've been riding outside. And I don't have these races or something. I really envy the Chennai crowd where they go on every weekend to go for a long rides or for races and stuff. Very unfortunately, I'm yet to find a group where they have these races and stuff attached. Hopefully, in this coming weeks, I will be part of a group here, and then they will have those races and stuff. Just wanted to check with you if that is okay to do the indoors continuously rather than trying it outside.
During the week, no problem at all. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just the rides which are longer than 1.5 hours, because I think 1.5 hours you can sustain even with not optimum cooling, but good enough cooling, right? And you're able to also get the fluids back in, right? For the weekend rides, if it's like a 2 hour ride, 2 hour 30 minutes, or even 3 hour ride, that's a toughie on the indoor side, because
on the indoors.
yeah, cooling is one problem, and I think the fatigue the next day is much higher, since you also lose a lot of electrolytes going with the fluid, and you sweat it out a lot, and you can really replenish it at that speed, right?
Okay. Okay.
Good thing is to eat salty stuff. Don't drink. I mean, you can add a little bit of salt in the drink as well, just a teaspoon, right? Or no, not a teaspoon. It just a small tad of salt you can add to the water as well. That's fine.
Okay.
So that it tastes just slightly salty. But the main salt you will get in with nutrition. So better to have like some salted stuff there as well. That will keep you a little bit better on the bike indoors. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Probably I have this salt tablets. I'm not sure whether it's a right approach to use that, or maybe lemon water. Not sure whether that is going to give me a lot of salt.
Yeah, not sure about that. Basically, what most of the people forget is, like, they have those salt tablets and they all drink it, right? And they think the salt is in the body, but it can't be
Right.
absorbed
Got it.
out of the gut. So you need to eat with it as well. So it's better to have like some. What's great, honestly, is like a potato with a little bit of salt on it. That would be the perfect
Oh,
mix.
okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Thank you very much, coach. That helps. And yeah, so the takeaway is I have to probably do my weekends outside. I'll try to see whether it's better. I will surely go out. Yeah, hopefully coming week onwards, it should probably go into the positives. So we'll try to do that. Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Sri.
Thank you, CM. And don't worry, even in Chennai heat, I'm mostly work on indoors only. So
Okay.
it's totally
It's
fine.
both extremes, right? Yeah. Yeah.
I think it depends on each person's situation. So as long as you're doing the training as best as possible, just do what works for you. If you can ride outside, it's always better, because you get the bike handling skills and other stuff also. You also get the fresh air and everything outside. So, but if you're not able to do that, it's okay to do it indoors. No issues.
Fine, Sri. Thanks.
Any other questions, guys? Coach, there's this person called Nagi on this call. He underplays himself a little bit too much, Coach. Don't listen to what he says. Make sure his FTP is set to 250 watts.
I am
That's
not
all.
opening actually.
Every ride he comes with me, he'll say stuff like, these guys killed him and he's not able to ride, but he looks fresh as a daisy.
I thought I'll ask my questions in the next meeting, because for me, I just started cycling as a bucket list. I'm at the end of my life cycle, so I just thought I'll get cycling done. So for now, I have no questions.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, coach. I think some of us have TT bikes. Which do you think is the best workout? In between the week, even we don't have any TT specific workouts, but which do you think is the best workout to use the TT bike when we have to hit it outdoors?
Yeah. Good one. Good question. So let's put it in another way. Having the TT bike on the indoor trainer, for example, right? It can be helpful, but most of the time it stresses the lower body parts and the lower back more than if you would be outdoors with the TT bike. And the reason is also aerodynamics, right? Since on every time you ride with a TT bike outdoors, you probably don't feel it, but I think you feel the difference if it's set up on the indoor trainer and set up outside. That outside it feels a bit better. Everything feels a bit better, right? The movement of the bike is a little bit more, so your body moves as well a little bit more, right? So the muscles don't get too tight. The other thing is aerodynamics play a big part of it. So the on the outdoor rides, you will have like an air cushion building up below your belly, right, and below your chest, which pushes you a bit up, right, which also tends to also lower the weight on your elbows and on the setup on the forward setup of the TT bike. So I highly recommend doing most of the work on the TT bike outdoors. If you set it up indoors, at least give yourself breaks from the position, because you might be minded as well. Hey, I'm going for a TT for 1 hour TT on the weekend, so I need to practice that position for 1 hour. Please do that 1 hour in the position outdoors and not indoors. Indoors, give yourself a break every once in a while. That would be the best suggestion. And for today's week's workout, I highly recommend doing them on a road bike and not using the TT bike, obviously, this time, and then hitting the TT bike again when we go tempo pace, when we go sweet spot, when we go FTP. Does that answer the question, basically?
Yeah, coach. Like example, the Sunday workout, the endurance workout is about 2.5 hours that you've given, but it's primarily endurance, and just the last 30 minutes, I think, is tempo.
Yeah,
I think that is still doable on the TT bike because the pace is not like really hot.
Yeah, that is on the long side of the things, but yeah, as you said, if the outdoor conditions allow it, right, then that would be a setup where I would every second weekend get out the TT bike and do it with the TT bike. Correct. Yeah.
Sure. So, coach, I'll basically select endurance and tempo-based workouts more to hit it on the TT bike rather than any of the VO2 max. I will probably I'll do that on the road bike anyways.
Yeah. TT is up to VO2 max, really, but in order to have like a really good VO2 max, and VO2 max is like we want to maximize oxygen uptake. That also means you need to be free from the upper body to really breathe in, right, and use that and blow up basically your lungs, right? And that's hard in that position on the TT bike. It's easier done and better done if you're on the road bike, and you'll also see it on the power numbers as well. You can produce much higher power numbers, meaning a much higher adaptation out of a VO2 workout than on the TT bike.
Yes, coach. I think I'll agree with that because I think there's one workout I tried on the TT bike, tried hitting FTP, and I think I failed miserably.
The good thing is, though, coming closer to your main event, like if you would have like an event 4 months from now, and within that 4 months you want to train on the TT bike closer to the event, go to the TT bike, even try VO2s, because then the VO2 itself, the power number, is not deciding who's winning. It's just you need to be able to produce at least kind of your VO2 wattage on the TT bike to win, right? So again, it's more specific towards that one. But 6 months out of like that big race, I would still do the VO2s on a road bike.
Sure, coach. Yeah. Thank you, coach. And I think just the last thing for me, I think the last 1 year has been like super productive for me. I think from where I've started to where I'm standing now, I think big kudos to you and for all the guidance that all the workouts that you've been giving, and big ups to Srivatsan also. I think he's also played a big part in in a lot of the stuff that we do, giving us constant insights. So I thank you, coach, thank you, Sri. uh, I think this is really a good thing for us. At least I'm enjoying my training.
Sure. But congrats to your work.
Thank you, coach.
Thanks, Aaron. And like coach said, it's you who's been putting in the work. And even though he had the fall and the fracture, coach, he was still, raring to get back on. And I think he doubled his, mileage last year from the year before. Yeah. So, I mean, including the fall and the accident. So he's really put in the work. He's worked hard. So, and obviously the results are showing as well.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay. Any other questions, guys? Gladys, any questions? Doc?
All good, Sri. Trying to listen to all the conversations so that I can get to understand some nuances behind this.
Nice. Okay, all right. If there's no other questions, then I guess we can wind up. Once again, thank you, coach. Thanks for guiding everyone. And it was tough to hear that you were unwell, the last month, and your family was also unwell. Hope everything is back on track for you guys.
Yeah, and as we were talking about, we should do that every 4 weeks at least, that call, right? And we try to, I'm sorry for that. I mean, first of all, my mother was really sick in December, and then all the family caught the influenza. So we were kind of down, but everything's back up to normal again, and we should do it on a regular basis then. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that, coach. Glad to hear that. And yeah, I'll set up meetings more regularly from now on.
Yeah, for sure. Cool.
Thank you, coach. Thanks,
All
guys.
right.
Thanks for joining. I'll talk to you all soon.
Thank you. Glad you like it. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. See you in the next meeting. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much, Coach. Thank you.